scales and how do I practice them? Keep watching to find out. If we haven't met, hi, I'm Megan. I'm a violinist and teacher who is currently based in New Jersey. I've been playing the violin for over 20 years. I have both my bachelor's and master's degrees in violin performance, and I am a Suzuki-trained teacher. If you are loving my videos, please subscribe to my channel and check out my online violin academy, which is always linked in the description. I'm often asked what scale book I recommend, and there are a ton of great scale books out there, but in my opinion, they are limited in the amount that they can actually help you master and practice your scales effectively. All scale books do is simply give you the notes. You then have to figure out the fingerings. You have to work on the intonation by yourself. You have to figure out where to shift. You have to figure out what's going to be the best way to practice it. So there's a lot left to be desired. This is why I created the complete scale guide. In this guide, I cover all major and minor scales. You'll get instructional videos teaching you how to play them in 1, 2, and 3 octaves, plus all of the corresponding arpeggios. You'll also get practice along videos where you can practice along with me, sheet music with fingerings, and my best tips for mastering and practicing these scales. For the next week, you can get this scale guide and all of my other courses for 20% off with the code SUMMER. They will of course be linked below. Another new course that's included in this sale is Crystallized by Lindsay Sterling. The sale ends this Saturday, June 3rd at midnight Eastern time, so hurry up and check them out while they're still on sale. First, what are scales? At their simplest, scales are a sequence of notes where you don't skip any notes. So let's take, for example, an A scale. I first start out with open A, then B, first finger, C sharp, second finger, D, third finger, and so on. So essentially, I'm not skipping any notes, I'm not skipping any fingers. Scales also start and end on their tonic note name. So for example, in that A scale, you start on A and you end on A. If you haven't started or ended on that note, on A, then you have not played at least a complete scale. There are a few different types of scales, but the most common are major and minor. These scales have the same pattern of half and whole steps. For a major scale, the pattern is whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half. And for a minor scale, the pattern is whole, half, whole, whole, half, whole, whole. There are 3 different types of minor scales: natural, harmonic, and melodic. Natural minor, you just follow the key signature. So in the case of A minor, has no sharps or flats, just play the key signature. For the harmonic minor, you raise the 7th scale degree on the way up and down. 7th scale degree just refers to the order of the notes in the scale. So the 7th note of the scale, you'll raise by 1/2 step up and down. So again, in the case of A, you'll play a G sharp on the way up and down. Melodic minor scales, which are the type that most violinists play most commonly, you raise scale degrees 6 and 7 on the way up and lower them on the way back down. So again, in the key of A, on the way up, you'll play F sharp and G sharp, and on the way down, you'll play F natural and G natural. Another way to think about this is on the way up in a melodic minor scale, it's the same as the major, only with the 3rd note lowered. So you'll play a C natural instead of a C sharp. And on the way down, it's the natural minor scale. Now, how exactly do you practice scales? Well, that's a very loaded question because there's pretty much an infinite way that you can practice scales. Scales are one of my favorite things to practice because once you learn them, they don't require too much thinking. They all have the same pattern of half and whole steps, like I said before. I generally use the same fingering for most of my scales, B flat all the way on up to F sharp, so I don't have to think too hard about what I'm actually playing, which frees up my mind to focus on what I want to improve. Things like intonation, shifting, vibrato, bowing patterns. In my personal practice, I utilize scales in two ways. The first way is as a warm-up. So after I complete my warm-up exercises, I will play a scale of my choice very slowly and make sure that my sound is good, all of my notes are in tune, etc. Currently, I just pick a scale that corresponds to a piece that I'm playing, but I used to pick one scale per week and go through the whole sequence. So I started at G major, then G minor next week, A flat, and so on. Then I practice the acceleration exercise. If you're unsure what the acceleration exercise is, it's the best way to practice 3-octave scales, and I have a video on it that I'll link here as well. After that, I'll go through my arpeggios slowly, maybe with the drone, and then play them quickly. The second way that I utilize scales in practice is to help me target a specific issue. So say I'm really having trouble with a bowing pattern in a passage. I'll play that bowing pattern on a scale. Say I'm having trouble reading notes or intonation in a particular position. Then I'll play maybe a 1 or 2 octave scale all in that position. Say I'm having trouble with my sound quality up high. I'll play a really high scale, like F or F sharp, and work on it that way. Again, there are really numerous ways to practice your scales. I'm not saying that you have to do it this way. If you have a particular favorite way of practicing scales, let me know in the comments below. So now you know what scales are and how to utilize them in your practice. Check out my complete scale guide below. Use the summer for 20% off until this Saturday, June 3rd, 2023. Let me know if you have any questions. Subscribe before you go, and thank you for watching.